Every Monday at 4:30 p.m. Money Talks with CFA Society Nigeria. Let's talk about money.
Money Talks. Money Talks.
Money Talks. Money Talks. Money Talks with CFA Society Nigeria. Let's talk about money.
We are professionals. We are impact-driven. We are CFA Society Nigeria, a member society of the CFA Institute Global Network of Societies. Our mission is to promote the highest standard of practice in the Nigerian financial services industry and provide a vibrant community for our members. The CFA Charter signals the holders' commitment to professional excellence. As thought leaders, we collaborate with stakeholders to ensure adherence to ethical standards, better education for professionals, and to build market integrity. We are the leading voice for advocacy in the finance and investment industry in Nigeria. To partner with us or become our member, visit us at cfasocietynG.org for more details. CFA Society Nigeria, making finance a force for good.
Money Talks. Money Talks.
Money Talks. Money Talks. Money Talks with CFA Society Nigeria. Let's talk about money. Hello everyone and welcome to Money Talks. Money Talks is a financial literacy program brought to you by CFA Society Nigeria right here on 92.3 Inspiration FM Smart. Uzechi is my name. And my guest in the studio here this evening is Moyosore Onanuga. We're going to be calling him Moyo on the program this evening. He's an experienced professional. He has with him a successful track record in strategy, investment management, and project management. He is currently the head of investment and corporate planning at AIICO Insurance PLC, where he manages a 30 billion naira short-term insurance investment portfolio, invested mostly in fixed income, but with some investment in venture capital and private equity. Moyo has experience in insurance, banking and pensions, but has a particular affinity for insurance and for helping people see why they need it. Moyo is also a chartered financial analyst. That's why you have CFA in front of his name. And he holds an MBA in finance and competitive strategy from Simon Business School at the University of Rochester. Let's say a very big welcome to Moyo Onanuga, who joins us on the program this evening. Moyo, good evening to you and welcome to Money Talks.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I and Moyo will be talking this evening about securing physical and financial health and well-being. That should interest you. Securing physical and financial health and well-being. If you have these two, blessed art thou. So you better just stay tuned and listen to Moyo as he downloads for us this evening. We'll be back after this break.
You've made a decision to aim for a long-term and successful finance career. Taking the Chartered Financial Analyst CFA exam and studying the curriculum is an excellent way to ensure you have a strong knowledge base and top-notch skills. Are you ready to take the bold step to invest in yourself? CFA Society Nigeria is at your disposal, promoting the highest standards of investment practice in Nigeria. As an affiliate of CFA Institute, CFA Society Nigeria seeks to promote the highest standards of investment practice in Nigeria and to provide a vibrant community in which its members and other key players in the investment industry can interact and grow. When you have the CFA charter, you're globally recognized. Take advantage today by writing the CFA exam and joining us at CFA Society Nigeria. For more information, visit us at cfasocietyn.org. CFA Society Nigeria, making finance a force for good.
Money.
Welcome back to Money Talks here on 92.3 Inspiration FM. Smart Uzechi here with Moyosore Onanuga. And this evening we're discussing securing physical and financial health and well-being. You can join on the telephone 0700 923 923 923. That's the number to call, 0700 923 923 923. Or you can send us messages on WhatsApp. You can also record voice notes and send to us on the number 0817 313 6193. That's 0817 313 6193. Or join on Instagram at Captain Smart 007. Welcome to all those who have already joined us on Instagram. So Moyo, let's get started. We're talking today about physical and financial health and well-being, how to secure it. So let's start to talk about our health first, because they say health is wealth and all of that. You know, both physical and financial this time around, that's what we're dealing with. So can you tell us, since you're from the insurance world, what is health insurance? Because people bandy these words around these days. Tell us about health insurance and how it actually works.
Okay, thank you very much for having me on the show. I think it's good to talk about risk first, so people get a good context of why we need insurance. I think generally people underestimate the amount of risk that they face every day. And a lot of the time, when people become aware of their risks, they seek to do one of four things. They either choose to accept the risk, they can reduce the risk, they can transfer the risk, or they can avoid it completely. Health insurance is a way for you to transfer your risk to a company. And people can choose to do that because they don't want to be exposed when the risk crystallizes. So essentially, when you get sick, you have to go to the hospital. If you don't have health insurance, depending on how sick you are, the financial outlay might be pretty significant. And so a lot of the time people just choose to, just say, okay, well, I'm going to pay a health insurance company a certain amount of money, and I don't want to have to worry about this risk. For health insurance, people are typically very aware of their risk because every so often in this part of the world, people have malaria, people have typhoid. And so they often have to go to the hospital and they're very aware of their risks. But there are other risks that people just generally live with every day. They either underestimate or they're not even aware at all. But since we're talking about health insurance today, in a nutshell, that's kind of how it works.
Wow. So if they get to pay or subscribe to this health insurance policy, they pay money for it and they don't get sick. What happened? The money is gone.
The money is not gone.
Some people are looking at that. They say, what if I no sick? My money don't go with that.
I think it's good to...
Like you say, it's a risk. You just transfer it.
Yes, you can. But the thing is, you never know when you're going to get sick. And the thing about life is that life is random and life is chaotic. You never know what's going to happen. If you choose to accept that risk, that's fine. You might not get sick.
Wow.
But when you get sick, and depending on how severe it is, because you don't know what's happening in your body all the time. Right? A lot of people today go around with high blood pressure.
Yeah.
A lot of people. Young people nowadays, because of everything that's going on. And people say, okay, well, yeah, what if I don't get sick? But most of the time, it's not a large amount of money
Okay, that's very important.
It's actually not a large amount of money, right? Depending on the kind of coverage you want and health insurance that you want, you can actually protect yourself to a good extent with an affordable health insurance plan. There are a bunch of companies that do things like that. So when you look at it like that, you can say, maybe I would choose to accept that risk and say, okay, well, I'm not going to get sick. But if you do and the risk crystallizes and it's not malaria, where you can just maybe get a drug from the hospital or typhoid or whatever. What if you need to get admitted?
Yeah.
And out-of-pocket costs for insurance for healthcare are
very
pretty
expensive.
high.
Very, very expensive.
So that's where you're protecting yourself from.
All right. So let's now know these institutions that are in this health insurance sector. What are their roles actually? Somebody will say, what will be their work? Let's just know, the health management organizations, which they know as HMOs right there, and even the hospitals, how do they fit into this particular policy you're talking about?
Okay, so essentially, let's kind of dimension out the parties here. So there's you, the customer or the client, the policyholder. There's the HMO, there's the hospital, there's your regulators, which you can talk about later. But the primary parties here, you, HMO, the hospital. The HMO essentially takes your premium, right? And when you get sick, depending on the amount of coverage that you have, on the type of insurance that you have, they liaise with the hospital. So when you go to the hospital, a lot of the time they might say, okay, well, just give us your number or give us your card or something. They will check the amount of coverage that you have. If it's something that you have coverage for, tell you to go, you might just sign a piece of paper. You go in, you see the doctor, you are in and out. It's pretty simple these days. But for maybe more complex things, they might need to get approval from your HMO, right? Because it's, even though you might be covered, but they just want to make sure that, look, the hospital will be reimbursed for what they are doing. Because at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
HMOs are a business. Hospitals, if they are not government-run hospitals, are a business, right? So it's just a way of making sure that everybody's happy at the end of the day. Yeah, so that's kind of how you look at it.
Okay, look at this HMO issue, people. Sometimes some people say, okay, I'll just save my money. When I am sick, I can go and get, health care. But all of us know that for some persons, the money they have is just one sickness, and in fact they'll just start begging. Like people come on social media, they start begging, go fund me or just contribute money for me. We're seeing one very popular Nollywood artist right now, actor right now, is there. He's begging. People are having to come to his aid and all of that. So how can people just better protect themselves so that they don't become international beggar, in that kind of area, so they don't fall victim, health insurance, and how does it work? How can people just protect themselves?
People can protect themselves, right? I think, again, it's just a question of your awareness and the appreciation of the risk. A lot of the time, people don't take it very seriously. They don't take their health very seriously until it's too late, right? There are things that you can do for yourself proactively, right? So again, it goes back to risk. So there's the overall thing about risk. You can protect yourself by living a healthy lifestyle, exercising, eating right and things like that. That's a way to reduce the risk.
Yeah.
Right. You can reach out to insurers. There are a ton of insurers everywhere. I work for an insurance company. There are HMOs everywhere, right? They're all over the place. If you work for formal employment, you are probably covered in one way or the other. There's the what is coming up now with the new National Health Insurance Act.
We have a caller. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, this is good evening, sir.
Thank you. What's the name and where you're calling from? Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So the question you asked, you just took it from my mind. So I want to ask it, that I want to enlarge it, so it can help me answer the question together. Now, I want to find out, is there, apart from the money that people contribute, that people save for their HMO, is there any other part that the insurance company is bringing in, or is it just the money I give them that they're using to treat me? Otherwise, I want to ask, what is now the benefit if I can save that money and keep it maybe in a bank or something? Whenever I'm sick, I just go and take it, other than put it in an insurance when at the end of the day I don't fall sick, and when that period elapses, the money is gone. So is there any benefit?
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. So that opens the phone lines. 0700-923-923 is the number that you can call. Moyosore Onanuga is here, and this evening we're talking securing physical and financial health and well-being. So if you have a question you want to ask or clarification you want to seek concerning the subject of health insurance generally, that's what we're talking about today, you can call us on the phone or send us a message on WhatsApp 0817-313-6193. You can also send a voice note to that number. So it takes us back to where we're coming from, really.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the question. I think if you are saving for health insurance, you are better than people who are not even aware of it at all. The question now is the amounts that you are saving, would it be enough to take care of you if you are in a hospital compared to the amounts that you're going to pay for insurance? It's unlikely. So if you are lucky and you say, okay, well, you have malaria or typhoid and you just have to get drugs, fine. What if you need an operation?
So the money you pay is not equal to the treatment you get.
No.
That's why it is insurance.
No, that's why it's insurance. So essentially, right, insurance works in such a way that if many people pay, not everybody is going to get sick. That's the way it works.
Yeah.
Right? It's many people come in, and then everybody who pays for the people that get sick. If you are paying, when if I pay for a certainty, like, okay, let's say I go out and I plan to drive and crash my car. That's my plan. That's a certainty. If I buy insurance, it's no longer insurance because it's a certainty.
Yeah.
You get. But if you are paying just in case you get sick, it's no longer a certainty, it's a risk. And the larger the amount of people in that quote unquote risk pool, the easier it is for insurance companies to actually predict how many people are going to get sick. Right? So it is the larger the amount of people. That's why we have the Health Insurance Act today, which is trying to get everybody into the insurance pool. Because the larger the amount, the more likely that when people are sick, we can actually pay for it.
It makes a lot of sense.
So it's little money. Everybody is bringing in small money. But
when you pull it
look
together,
at the pool, people that are sick can get health care.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay, so now the next question will be to follow from what that caller had just said. So it looks like it's only people who are in paid employment, those who are paid salary at the end of the month. It looks like they're the ones who get health insurance. Or can artisans, like traders who are in the marketplace, or people who are even self-employed, can they subscribe to health insurance? If so, how can they do it? But let's talk to this caller before we get there. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Thank you so much for calling. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Yeah. Vincent from Sulere.
Go ahead, sir.
I want to ask, how much can one contribute? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Vincent wants to know. So maybe you take that in addition to this question we just asked now. Yeah.
Okay. It depends, right? It depends on the amount of coverage that you want. And different companies are different scales. There are more higher end HMOs. There are more affordable HMOs. So you can basically tailor your coverage to kind of what you want. If you know, okay, well, you can do maybe 50K or 100K a year or something like that. There are plans that can cater to your needs, and then you will know the full benefits that you're actually entitled to. Because when you are actually paying, the benefits, the types of hospitals, all those kinds of things go into how much you actually pay. And you will know it up front before you pay. So when you are paying, you will know that, look, these are the benefits that I'm entitled to if I get sick, dental, medical, all those kinds of things. And these are the hospitals that I can go to. Usually with HMOs, you would have to sign up to 1 or 2 hospitals. So usually we want one near your home and one near your office or whatever. You can do the same for your family. And you know that when things are happening, you go to this hospital. A lot of the time with HMOs in Nigeria, you just need to tell them your number. A lot of the time you don't even pay anything, and you get your healthcare and you move on with your life.
Oh, wow. 0700-923-923-923. That's the number you can call, or you can send a WhatsApp message or send a voice note to 0817-313-6193. Securing physical and financial health and well-being. We're talking around the health insurance scheme available for you, how you can subscribe to that and save yourself the headache of trying to get just out-of-pocket health expenses. Hello, good evening to you.
Hello, good evening.
Welcome. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
My name is Mecca. I'm calling from Surulere.
Okay, go ahead, madam.
Okay, I just wanted to make a contribution, and I think that's one of the callers. I think taking out a health insurance plan for yourself, for your family is very important, especially for those of us who have old people, around us. There are organizations to actually make provisions for health plans that cover aged people. I think up to the age of 80. That's readily available for most, some HMOs that I'm very much familiar with. So it's just a way to encourage listeners, to actually key into it. It's a very, very good, and I agree with your guests on the show. It's a very, very good, it's a way to go, if I must say. It's a way to do it. It actually does a whole lot for people. Saves you the stress of having to pay out of pocket when you can actually have a coverage that takes care of your needs at any point in time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. We appreciate you. Moyo, the National Health Insurance Act of 2022 mandates every Nigerian to actually have health insurance. Every Nigerian. Are there measures that are being put in place now or undertaken already in place to actualize this ideal where every Nigerian is going to comply with this act?
So, it's interesting that you asked that question. I think over the last couple of weeks, the NHIA, that's the National Health Insurance Authority, has actually released operational guidelines to kind of make the law a reality on ground. These guidelines are still being kind of discussed to see how things are going to work, because when you are transitioning from more private health insurance, even though there was the NHIS before, which was public insurance, but people had to opt into that scheme. But now people really don't have a choice. They have to buy your health insurance, which is essentially how it should work because you want as many people as possible. But when it's actually operationalized and actualized, people will know how they're going to do it. But for now, things are a little bit in flux. And last week, Thursday or Wednesday, the head of the NHIA, a new head of NHI was just appointed. So it kind of tells you where things are in terms of the implementation of those things. Plans are still yet to be put in place, but I'm sure that once things are settled, every Nigerian will know how they can participate in the scheme, including those that you said, the self-employed and all those kinds of things. I think for those people right now, before things are actualized, they can still patronize private health insurance companies. I think the way that I would advise people to do it is to kind of form groups, because a lot of the time health insurers are quite wary about people who are looking for insurance.
Okay,
right.
We'll have a caller. Yeah. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening, Captain Smart.
Thank you so much for calling.
Hi, good evening.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Moyo, for that, for your time. My name is Choma. I use insurance companies, and one thing I like to say is that both parties are in business. Both the insurance company itself and the hospitals, in such a way that everybody is covered. I want to believe that the insurance companies really have that in mind, really, when they negotiate with hospitals. Another thing I want to really talk about is there are some gray areas I've noticed with insurance companies. I know you mentioned that you could the premium is not that much, but I actually want the insurance companies to explain to enrollees exactly what they get, and not that you promise them everything, and by the time when they come to executing, or when they go to the facility, they're told that based on your plan, this is not covered and this is not covered.
Right.
So it's better you lay out all the cards so that people understand. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Choma. And we'll have messages here. Let's just take them so you can just conclude with them because we're running out of time. Frank White says, I am on an HMO from my office. Every time I go there to complain of one thing or the other, I notice it is the same set of drugs I am given, a bunch of painkillers. They also told me I could not come in and request a test, else I would have to pay. Is that normal, or is the hospital shortchanging me? Frank White, thank you. And this message here says, good evening. Please, can you repeat the insurance number again or text it, please? Grandma in Apapa, texting right there. Thank you, Grandma, for your message. And this is a very long one. We cannot read that. This is my avatar here. Says, does any health insurance plan cover surgeries? So a barrage of questions, and you have just 2 minutes to take all of them, Moya.
Okay, to the question on surgeries, yes. A bunch of surgeries, depending on the scope of coverage. I think the first question on drugs, going to the hospital and getting the same drugs.
Yeah.
I think that might be an issue with the hospital,
because some people say that when you use HMO, they don't give you A-list drugs. They give you something, I don't want to say substandard, but they don't give you the proper treatment as if you like when you're paying out of pocket.
Right.
Why is that? Because that's what Choma was also asking.
Right.
You get there, there's an emergency, and they tell you your plan does not cover this.
Typically, right. Hospitals are supposed to treat emergencies. When people go to the hospital for general stuff, I won't say emergencies. I wouldn't say, I find it difficult to believe, because my company also has an HMO. I find it difficult to believe that HMOs will shortchange people like that a lot of the time, because look, things are getting expensive and people can understand that, but a lot of the time HMOs are trying to actually help the people that work with them, because at the end of the day, you are the one paying them the money. If you are not happy, they will go to another HMO that's going to pay them the money. The hospitals, right, really, they are going to be there because at the end of the day, you are paying the HMO so you can go to the hospital. So if you are going and they keep giving you the same set of drugs, you might want to get a second opinion and see if what the hospital that you're going to, what they diagnose you with is what another hospital will diagnose you with. Perhaps you might just have some kind of chronic issue. You don't know. But I would advise, get a second opinion first before you conclude that maybe the hospital is shortchanging you or something like that.
Okay, so what if there are disputes? We'll conclude with this. We'll have 30 seconds left. Dispute, between the enrollee, like Choma was trying to mention there. For instance, a hospital or the HMO itself. How can the person seek redress? You talked about a regulatory agency for that. Yeah.
So typically, right, disputes from, and I can only speak from the experience of my own company. They rarely arise because at the time you are buying your insurance, you are clear on the benefits that you are entitled to, right? So disputes rarely arise. With most HMOs as well, disputes rarely arise. So I think, yes, the HMOs can do a better job front-loading that information and saying, look, this is what you're entitled to, and all those kinds of things. But we also have a role to play to find out before we are sick that, okay, well, this is what we can do, this is what we can do, and this is what we're entitled to. I think that will help, manage those concerns.
Well, unfortunately, we're out of time, but you can go to the CFA Society Nigeria website, www.cfasocietyng.org, and get more information about the topic of today and, of course, the previous editions of this program on this station. We've been talking with Moyosore Onanuga, and we've been discussing this evening securing physical and financial health and well-being. Moyo, thank you very much for coming. We appreciate you and your wealth of experience in this regard.
Thank you very much for having me.
Smart Uzechi is my name. Thank you for listening. Join us again next Monday at 4:30 p.m. for a fresh package of the program. Stay tuned. Alpha Club is up next.
It's 5 o'clock. 92.3, your number one family radio.